Good evening, everyone.
今年
This year,
我们庆
we
祝
celebrate our
金禧国
Golden
庆
Jubilee.
相信大家
Throughout
从
the
年
year,
初开始
many
就
of us
参
have
与了
participated
不少
in many
活动
celebrations,
庆祝新加坡
celebrating a significant milestone
这个重要的
for
里程碑。
Singapore.
新加坡
Indeed,
能有
Singapore's
现在的成就
success
国泰
and the
民安
peace and stability
是
we
值得大
enjoy
家自
are
豪
reasons for us to
庆祝
rejoice and be proud.
我希望大家在庆祝的当
As we
儿
celebrate,
也想
I
一
hope
想
we can also reflect on our
我们是
journey.
如何一起走到这里。更重要
More
的是
importantly,
我们如何
consider
才能
how
使
we
新加
can
坡
maintain our
继续
success.
繁荣稳定。要一一
It
呈
would
现
take
这些
far
年的
too
成果
long to
恐怕
recount
说到
every
天亮
single
也
one
说不
of
完
our achievements.
因此
Even
我
if I
整
had
理
a
出
whole
一些
night,
照
it would
片
not be enough.
跟大家一起
So I have
回顾
prepared some
我们的
pictures
发
to
展道路
summarize our SG50 journey.
独立之前
Before
新
independence,
加坡社会动荡
Singapore
不安
went through a tumultuous period with riots from time to time.
1959年
In 1959,
人民行动党
the People's
当
Action
选
Party
执政
won the general election.
这是行动党当
This
选后
shows
在政府
the
大厦前
PAP
举行
rally at the
党
Padang
前的大草场举行
after
的
winning the general
群众
election.
大会。当年的群众大会
Rallies
和
then
今晚
were
的
quite
群众大会
different from now,
气氛完全不相同。不过群
but
众大
they are
会
still an
一直是我们
important
讨论
platform
国家大事
to discuss
动员
national
人民的一
issues
个重
and
要的
rally the
平台
people to move forward.
在60年代
In the
新
1960s,
政府优
the
先
priority
改
of the
善
new
人民
government
的生活
was to improve lives
让人民
and
都有房
house
子住。
people.
这里是
This
巴
was
士里
Duxton Plain in
这两座
Tanjong
图
Pagar,
是建筑局在
where
这
the
里
first
建的
government
第一
flats
批
were
组
built.
当年李光耀
This
先
was
生
the
对
promise
大
that
陆发
Mr.
的
Lee
承
made
诺
to
要为
voters in
他们
Tanjong
盖
Pagar,
房子
that is, to build homes
所
for
以
them.
巴士岭的组
Hence,
具有
the flats
象
in
征意
Duxton
义
have national
是一个
significance.
国家级的发展项目，只许成功不许失
It
败。
had to succeed.
接着，我们在全岛各地新建
Subsequently,
出
we built flats all over the island, including in Ang Mo Kio.
这是80年代的红毛
This was
桥
Ang Mo Kio in the
我在这里服务了
1980s.
30多
I
年
have served here for more than 30 years, and I have seen the changes of the town together with the
这是
residents.
今天的红毛桥
This is Ang Mo
大家
Kio
可以
today.
看到主屋都已经翻新了，
You can see that the
有
flats have been upgraded,
MUP 的都加上了小房间，
and there are the
有
smaller
电梯
rooms
翻新的
from
都
MUP
加上了许许多多的电梯，
and
每一
many
层
new
都有
lifts,
电梯了。
lifts that stop at every floor.
刚独立的新加坡，
When we became
没有自己的武
independent,
装部
we had
队
no army to defend
来捍卫国家。
ourselves.
因此
So in
2年后我们
1967,
推行了国民
we
服役
started national service.
那个时代华人
Parents
普遍认
then
为
were
好男不当
reluctant
兵
to send their sons to do NS.
这就是
This
60
was a
年
batch of
阿兵哥
recruits
入伍的
in
起
1967.
是第一批征召入伍
They were
的
the
阿兵
first
哥
batch.
父母们
Here
父
you
母
can
们
see the
送儿子
parents
入伍
sending
时
off their
都
sons.
依依不舍
Some looked
非
quite
常
sad.
难过现在
But things are quite
时代
different
不同了
today.
观念也改变了
Mindsets
在
have
军训
changed.
结业礼上
Parents are
父母为孩子
proud
的
of their
成就
sons' achievements
感到
at
骄
passing
傲
out parades.
我也为
And
他们
I
感到
am
高
very
兴
happy for them
因为
because
our
our boys have turned into men. Apart from building up our defense capabilities, we also needed to build our economy and to provide jobs and give people a steady income. Shipyards in the 1980s employed many people and eased the unemployment situation. As our economy transformed, we began to see more types of jobs. Here you can see a technician operating precision engineering equipment which requires higher level skills, which translates into higher pay, of course. To acquire higher level skills, our people needed to be better educated. The government invested in education and built a world-class system. This was a school in the 1960s and 70s. It was a school in Sembawang called Lee Teck Public School. It had only very basic facilities. Now, schools have nice compounds and good facilities. This is Northlight School. It provides applied training and helps the students to achieve their potential. You can see that our students are much more fortunate today. Keeping Singapore green is also important. We started tree planting annually many years ago. In 1971, we officially started the Tree Planting Day program. Here, the children are planting fruit trees. They look forward to enjoying the fruits of their labor. Over the years, we have turned into a city in a garden. This is Dawson, and you can see the greenery all around the flats. It is very green. It is just like standing in the garden. I took this picture myself, and my security officer told me that it was unfortunate that he did not buy a flat there. There will be more chances. These are the botanic gardens, which have just been inscribed as a World Heritage Site. It's a precious gift for SG50. We have come far over the years and achieved all this together. Hence, it was with great joy and excitement that we came together to celebrate at the National Day Parade this year. It was a moment of jubilation and excitement. The Chinese community has contributed greatly to Singapore's development. That includes the efforts of many distinguished Chinese business leaders. They were enterprising and they built their businesses, driving economic development and creating jobs. Apart from that, since the colonial days, the Chinese business leaders have taken on various social responsibilities. In the early days, they looked after the community, built schools, and set up clan associations to look after their fellow men in need. During self-government and the early days of nation building, they led the community and fought for citizenship and fair treatment, protecting the community's interests. Today, they are still active in supporting the schools and clans in their various activities and projects. They have also supported other ethnic groups and helped to build social cohesion. It is not just the big business owners who are doing this. Many SMEs and business owners have also contributed at the grassroots level in the long term. For example, it is now the 7th month in the lunar calendar, and many 7th-month committees are contributing to the needy and welfare funds through donations and auctions. This is their way of giving back to society. The grassroots organizations are grateful for their contributions. The cultural and education sector is another pillar of our Chinese community. They are responsible for the promotion of the Chinese language and instilling traditional and national values in the next generation. Here are the winners of this year's Inspiring Chinese Language Teachers Awards. Using innovative teaching methods, they have inspired interest in the Chinese language and culture. Our educators' efforts and dedication have helped generations of Singapore build a sound foundation in the language so that when they get jobs here or in China, Taiwan, or Hong Kong, they're effectively bilingual and can do well. Among those who performed at the National Day Parade this year were J.J. Lin, Stephanie Sun, and Kit Chan. They did not attend Chinese schools, but they are mega Chinese pop stars with many fans both here and abroad. Many of our younger ministers and MPs also speak Mandarin fluently. Some of them come from SEP schools and some from traditionally English medium schools. They are able to use Mandarin effectively to communicate with the people, explaining policies both in Parliament and also on TV. This shows that our bilingual education policy has worked. The Chinese media have also played an important role in nation building. Their detailed reporting helps people who are not fluent in English to understand local and world developments as well as government policies. 联合早报, 联合晚报, and Xinmin Daily News have also organized many special events to explain policies such as the Pioneer Generation Package and MediShield Life to the public. Minister Lim Sui-sei also attended one of these events to help the public understand MediShield Life in its own unique way. Over the years, Chinese TV and radio have also created an environment that is conducive to the learning and use of Mandarin. To celebrate SG50, the Chinese media have produced rich content and specials to document our nation building. Recently, at the SG50 sing-along organized by the Chinese media and other groups, I joined in the enthusiastic singing of familiar songs. You know, I'm not a great singer, but still, I found it very heartwarming. I'm also heartened to see more young people passionate about the Chinese culture and actively promoting it. The Chinese drama scene is thriving. Chinese classical music is also popular at schools and in the community, even among non-Chinese students. In May this year, I attended a concert by Marsling Chinese Orchestra. They invited a Filipino rondalia group to join them. This Marsling Chinese Orchestra is performing here, and these are the Filipino guests who are performing with them. The Chinese orchestra has members from other ethnic groups. This is one of the members called Shafiq. He plays the erhu. And he was one of the founding members. At last year's launch of the Speak Mandarin campaign, I watched a brilliant performance by the Tung Company. These young people inject new life into traditional culture and showcase our unique Singaporean Chinese culture. The Chinese community has contributed greatly to Singapore, promoting the Chinese culture and language and supporting other groups. As the CDAC says, a little from all, together it's more. Everyone can do his part to make our society better. Please keep up the good work and work with us to keep the Chinese community thriving and the Chinese culture vibrant. The government will continue to support all races in preserving their cultural roots. 3 years ago, I announced the setting up of the Singapore Chinese Cultural Centre, which has become well supported by the Chinese community. Many of you have contributed your time and money to keep the Chinese culture alive. Thank you for that. The Chinese community is one of Singapore's pillars. Hence, we have set up the Chinese Community Liaison Group, or CCLG, to engage the community. The group is now led by Minister Chan Chun Sing. This year, the CCLG members have experimented with various platforms, such as appearing on radio shows like the 95.8 FM radio show, as well as dialogue sessions organized by the SPH, so that they can get to know the people better and hear what they have to say. For 2 years, I myself have taken part in a 95.8 FM radio program to take questions from listeners. One listener told me last year that he was worried about the cost of living. I will address this next. What is the cost of living? It includes our daily expenses and what we spend on the essentials such as clothing, food, housing, transport, and healthcare. Actually, the government has been putting a lot of effort into helping the people to meet their basic needs by using different measures to keep the prices of food and other necessities affordable.
There's no sincere love than the love of food, especially Singaporeans. So let's start with food. We are encouraging businesses to offer affordably priced daily necessities. For example, the rice we eat are different varieties. These are from the NTUC Fair Price, which sells quite a wide variety of rice, about 30 brands altogether, and including the house brands. And just Fair Price's house brands alone, there are about 10 types of rice. So, when consumers are buying, they have a good choice. There are premium brands and there are the mass brands. Fair Price's house brands are much cheaper, and the quality is not so bad too. And it's a good way to save on household expenses. So I am advertising for Fair Price. But I know not every family cooks at home nowadays. Nowadays, many people eat out. This is very different from before. So what we'll do next is that we'll be building more hawker centers and change the way the hawker centers are run so that you get good prices and good food. And some of the new hawker centers will be managed as if they are cooperatives and social enterprises. And so apart from offering cheaper food, part of the profit will be returned to the community in the form of other benefits. Recently, I visited a newly opened Hsien hawker center at Ang Mo Kio, Hougang. This is one of the new hawker centers. It was crowded and there were long queues at some of the stores. I believe the food must be delicious and reasonably priced. And this is selling chicken rice. This is a stallholder. This is the shifu. And so he's learning the skill. I'm quite sure the newly learned chicken rice would be much just about as good as what the shifu cooks. This is a new hawker center. There will be 9 coming up. They'll be building them one after another. Another living expense of concern is transport. We've introduced various schemes to keep the public transport affordable. And as of today, there are nearly 1.6 million people who hold a public transport concession card. Since last year, all students, including polytechnic students, enjoy public transport concessions. And recent years, the government has also issued $50 senior public transport vouchers for senior citizens of 60 years and above. And in fact, according to statistics, in the past 10 years, the quantum of wage increase is higher than fare increase. Wage increase is higher than fare increase, which means that even if fare increases, wage has increased more. So objectively, for most commuters, their burden has not become heavier. And the government has introduced a series of measures so that public transport is kept affordable. And on medical needs, with the policies as the Pioneer Generation Package and the MediShield Life, we make healthcare more affordable for the people. And many pioneers tell me that they have received a PG card and they find it useful and they can save on medical expenses. Before, when they had to spend tens of dollars at the doctors, and now they only pay a few dollars. Even at the dentist, sometimes it's free. They don't have to pay a cent. And so the children are relieved too. They don't have to pay or they pay less. And some of the pioneers may not have used the card yet, but they have it. And they have the peace of mind. They feel safer. I'm encouraged that our gesture is practical and helpful for the pioneers. But however, I hope that you stay healthy, that you don't have to use a card. Housing prices have stabilized over the years because a series of cooling measures have been introduced and supply has increased. The government has also increased housing grants and subsidies so that nearly every family can afford a HDB flat. We'll be introducing new schemes so that those who earn less than $1,000 per month can afford an HDB flat. I will elaborate in English. Now, these examples show that the government is managing the cost of living and medical expenses. It has rolled out different measures to help people alleviate their burden. But this is only part of the solution. Why so? Because as Singapore develops, lifestyles change, consumption habits have also changed, aspirations have also risen. For example, more families have air conditioners and different kinds of electrical appliances. Before, in many families, there are very few who have air conditioners installed at home. Now, for every 10 households, there will be 7 or 8 who have air cons installed in their homes. And, air cons consume a lot of electricity, and so electrical bill goes up. Another example is telephone bills. And before, every home owns only one phone. Everyone in the family uses the same phone. And the monthly phone bill back then was about $750. Now, everyone in the house owns a handphone and could probably be a smartphone. And the bill for each phone comes to about more than $20. I believe 1,000 of you here, there would be more than 1,000 phones. And so when a family has 4 or 5 members, and we multiply by 20 communications bill, it would add up to quite a substantial amount. Those are the phone bills. And maybe this is why some feel money not enough. This is a change in lifestyle and a higher standard of living. Everyone hopes to live better and more comfortably. This is reasonable. But then expenses will increase. And of course, burdens will become heavier. So the question of cost of living consists of subjective and objective elements, and that even with good policies, we can't resolve the entire problem. I hope you understand that. Now, while we apply ourselves to resolving livelihood issues and to dealing with domestic issues, which our peoples face, we must be alive to what is happening outside our country. The international situation, especially what happens in the surrounding countries, can have an impact on Singapore. We must not think that the peace and the stability that we are now enjoying will be here to stay. We mustn't think that. If we are not careful, Singapore's survival will be threatened. In fact, this is what Mr. Lee Kuan Yew was most concerned about. About 2 years ago, when Mr. Lee was already quite old and quite frail, there was once at a parliamentary debate, many MPs were debating over a few days on some bread and butter issues. It was a heated debate. Mr. Lee was affected. He was worried. He felt that people seemed to have forgotten about the issues critical to Singapore's long-term interest and survival. And then he prepared a speech. He was ready to speak in Parliament. He wanted to remind people of some of the hard truths of Singapore's survival. I told him, for decades you've taken pains to remind Singaporeans about it. You've done your part. Now, it's our job to do it. Mr. Lee took my advice and decided not to speak. So tonight, I will remind you of some of the external challenges that Singapore faces. Our 2 neighbors, Malaysia and Indonesia, they are closely linked with us. I should say we are interdependent. Every year when the haze drifts to Singapore, we are reminded of how close we are. So let's talk about Indonesia. We have good relations with President Jokowi, and he has a good impression of Singapore because his sons have studied in Singapore before. But I know that there are some Indonesians who hold different views about Singapore. An Indonesian official once said it this way. He explained it this way. He said, in Indonesia, the Chinese are the minority. But they are economically more well-off than the pribumi Indonesians, and they are wealthier. And since the Pribumi Indonesians are the majority, we can say in some ways they are the big brother. And so when the Pribumi Indonesians want something from the Chinese should be sensitive to their needs. In the same manner, our relationship with Indonesia is the same. To the Indonesians, Singapore is just a little red dot. So they feel that when Indonesia wants something from us, Singapore should be sensitive to Indonesians' needs and know what to do. Indonesia is a large country, and it's inevitable that some Indonesians hold this view. But it means that there is potential for friction between our two countries. And to stay as equal partner and maintain a mutually beneficial relationship, we must manage our relationship very carefully. Malaysia is experiencing some disquiet recently. You can read about the problems in the news. This includes threats of money politics, ISIS, terrorism, and race and religious conflicts. Many problems. Earlier, there was a fight at the Loong shopping center in KL, and many people were very concerned. If you go to the internet, you will see many video clips. And although the matter was resolved, but you have seen the video footage, you will realize it was quite serious. And it could even go out of control. And there will be very serious consequences and will affect relations between the races. Although Singapore and Malaysia have separated, but if something happens on the other end of the causeway, we will definitely be affected. Therefore, we must be vigilant. We must not take the current peace for granted and think that we will always be at peace with one another. And in understanding our domestic issues, we must be aware of what's happening outside our country, as they may undermine the region's stability and therefore destroy Singapore's stability and threaten our security and stability. We must be united so as to defend our youth interests, protect our national security, ensure social harmony. During the last 50 years, indeed, we have become more united and more stable. When we were first independent, we had nothing, and we faced more formidable challenges. But our pioneer generation worked together. They gave of themselves, they sacrificed together to give us the Singapore of today. And as they strived together for Singapore, trust between the people and the government was forged. And so long as measures benefit the country and the people, they gave their support. The people supported the government because they knew where the government was coming from. And they trusted the government's intentions. The pioneer generation knew this basic truth very well. Over the past 50 years, from Mr. Lee Kuan Yew to Mr. Goh Chok Tong and my team, we know that we have a responsibility to govern well and share the fruits of progress with the people, and at the same time nurture the next generation of leaders so that Singapore will continue to do well in the long term and so that we can account to the people. And the next team will also stand by this motto, for this is Singapore's formula for success. Many tell me that the elections are coming. My reply was, I heard about it. So, no matter when the elections are held, when it comes, please, whether for yourself or for your next generation, choose wisely. Continue to support my team and myself and work with us together for our future. The Golden Jubilee is not the end. It's a beginning. We are now starting at a higher point. In the road ahead, we need to support each other And together, we protect the fruits of our labor from the past 50 years. And together, we conquer many more new peaks. So that for the next 50 years, our Singapore will still be a shining red dot. And that will be SG 100, a brilliant 100 years we would have had. Thank you.